Okay, this is going to be my first try with the commentary about the second part of the ravine battle. We'd switch sides, so we're on the other side of the ravine. Normally I play a little bit more forward, closer to the line of contact, but I'd already fought two rapier ravines and the other part of the ravine, so I was a little gassed and I didn't have a lot of juice, so I was just playing kind of long ball. I was a little rushed putting in the camera. That's why aim is a little off. I didn't get to do everything that I wanted to do on setup. At this point in the day, their archers were pretty much real low on ammo. They shot some, but not a whole bunch. I was on my third crossbow. So primarily shooting at their spearmen, because their spearmen were causing the carnage on the front line. Some glavemen. Now the flag to the left had a bias where it was much easier for us to defend it. It was closer to our resurrection point. The flag in the middle is in the 50-yard line, and the flag on the right was closer to their resurrection point. So it's kind of balanced there for points-wise. I'm going to crank up the resolution on the camera next time so that way you can see the impacts a little better. Usually when you see a launch and if you see someone all of a sudden flinch, that means that they got hit. I got to work on something here to reduce the number of misfires on this crossbow. So it's a pretty easy mod. I just need to do it. What they'd do is they'd come down on the very far left there on the edge of the world where the marshals were at, and it would help that we couldn't shoot at them so much because there's a couple marshals over there and you don't want to hit a marshal. The problem is when you shoot into a area where they're engaged, is a lot of times people don't realize that you've just hit them with a crossbow bolt. I don't take it too personal. And honestly, a lot of times I try not to shoot when they're making a charge on it, because when they're charging, their dander's up, and they don't know if it's their shield bouncing around hitting them or if something hits them unless you hit them like right in the face, somewhere painfully obvious, which is kind of hard to do with a moving target.
Give the flag over here. If you don't feel productive there, get these spearmen over here on the left, by the left banner.
Over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was lots of opportunities to wreak havoc on that left side. They were playing a lot more spear distance, whereas here in the middle they were doing a lot more of pulse charges and using glaives.
Strip them of their spears, archers! Kill their spearmen!
This is a nice area to be at because you could actually lend support to both sides, the center and to our left. They had it set up where you couldn't go past it. You'll see some red tape on the trees that we weren't supposed to go further to the right than that. You could engage targets past that, but there was a tree on that side of the ravine and a tree on our side of the ravine that was a line that we weren't supposed to go over. And that's so people, if they didn't want to get shot by archers, they could go far to the right and
my new spear. I mean, my new
they could get a break from getting shot. Which a lot of people from Volunteer did. They were on this end of the ravine in the last part 1. But on part 2, they were like, we were just getting shot with these archers, and they went to up the ravine to the side that didn't have combat archery. Yeah, in retrospect, I should have moved forward about 10 feet. My game would have been much more effective. Though might have been hit by some counter battery, and a couple times they would send out runners to try to get some archers, and they got them on our far left.
How about that?
The trudge up to our resurrection point was a lot worse than on the other side. Now, granted, the first part, we were on the other side. Yeah, going back to resurrection point wasn't that bad on that side, but the resurrection point was on top of a hill behind me, and it was a trudge. See, there's a runner that just got Theodora. Yeah, technically you're not supposed to shoot uphill. That's to keep the overshoots from going into the camping areas or behind the lines on both sides of the ravine. That's Volunteers encampment facing that hill, and then behind us is the Ansteelers encampment. Now they did have netting up, just try to stop overshoots, but if you're shooting up the hill, which you're not supposed to do, they normally enforce it pretty strictly. This year they didn't do it too much. But like I said, I was kind of tired. I didn't want to push that envelope myself. Yeah, you see the red tree here. Red tape on the tree to my right. Now the one thing was I was able to set up some of these shots where I'd be aiming and I'd be elevating it for trying to get the range. Normally got 3 range brackets. About 30 foot, 60 foot, and 90 foot. And when I was thinking about it, I was doing my 90-foot elevation. You learn where those points are. At 30 foot, usually the top of your APD and the top of the blunt. That's almost exactly what the rifle sights are for about 30 foot. And then you gotta learn where the points are to elevate it further for 60 and 90 foot.
I'm out of ammo.
Now this one guy was, he's 63.
I got more back in the box. I just reached down and there ain't nothing in the box.
His knees and his back hurt, so he's sitting back here plugging away, sitting on the bench.
Oh, you.
He's still taken to the field. That's awesome.
Sorry.
But I got and reloaded because I was empty. Now, the canvas bucket I use holds 50 rounds, which is a pretty long slog. And then coming to war, we bring him 300 rounds, which normally my wife and I split, but my wife didn't take to the field today. The big thing is when you got more rounds, you play a different game. Normally what happens for my wife, since she just does combat archery, when we get down to about a quarter of our last box, I have 2 big Rubbermaid tubs that hold about 150 rounds each. What I do is I transition over to a glaive and go out and start hitting people with a stick and let her finish the day using her crossbow.
Make sure you're not pulling your arrows too far back where it's going over the notch.
Yeah, most of the time there's a bolt stop that's usually a little finishing nail that's in the groove of the crossbow. And if you pull the bolt back too far, the bowstring will slide up under the APD and cause a misfire where it goes spinning through the air and wasting a round. Like I said, I need to make an improvement on this crossbow to take care of that. My primary and my secondary bows have modifications that don't let you pull the bolt back too far. And anything that keeps it from coming back too far is a good thing. Now, if it doesn't come back far enough, then the bowstring slaps it and it's not good for your accuracy. So there's this nice fine line you want to be at where you want that end of your bolt in a good spot where the bowstring will catch it and accelerate it. It's not like these things are precision weapons to begin with. You can watch the rounds wobble through the air. Nice thing about being on the hill is you can drop your shots over our own guys and trying to hit the targets. Actually having real terrain that matters, like if you charge down a hill, it adds a lot of impetus to a charge.
I see that shrugged shoulder look.
Normally we do one ravine battle and it's an hour long, but they did 2 of them that were 45 minutes long.
Ah!
See, that was one where the bowstring got under there and kind of wobbled it out. That's one thing with combat archery, your situational awareness. You have to have your head on a swivel, so that way you can see if there's any runners trying to run down to archers. When you're a shieldman, your world is only about 5 or 6 feet in front of you in a 90-degree arc. When you're a glaiveman, it's about 8 feet out and a little bit bigger in a 90-degree arc. When you're a spearman, it's about 10 foot out and about 135-degree arc for engagement. When you're an archer, your world is at least 30 feet out, and you got to be paying attention to see targets and see what's going on. Now, that being said, that you can call out when you start seeing a situation developing. But this was just a gotta make the donuts type of moment. I had ammo, shooting, just killing spears. See how they're bubbled out on our left over there on the edge of the world? And like I said, there's like, looks like 3 or 4 marshals right there, so you had to watch your overshots. I can proudly say this time that I didn't hit any of the marshals. Last year I didn't realize the guy standing there was a marshal. I shot him, and then when he yelled at me, I was like, oops.
Thanks. Oh, wow. Oh.
Okay, that was the guy that was wearing the gladiator-style helmet with his really nice
That dude's okay.
right shoulder.
Had to go check
And
on him.
my shot dropped in and hit him like right on top of the clavicle. I walked across the field because he dropped his spear and was holding his shoulder as soon as I hit him. I walked over there and checked on him and was talking to him, and everything was kosher. He was all right. Nothing bad. It hit right on top of the AC joint, so it hit more of the scapuloacromial process, not the clavicle. Clavicle can break very easily.
I've been
and,
working that guy a whole bunch.
one of these crossbows, I'm pretty sure would break a clavicle if you hit it just right. But I went over and checked on him, and when I came back, I mean, nobody on either side crossing the lines both ways dropped a shot on me or nothing. I was pretty happy with that. I was like, wow, it's a zen type of moment walking over there, but I'm just glad that the guy wasn't injured. We all got to work on Monday when we're done with the war. Try not to take things personal out here, because then people get all amped up and things can get ugly. It's all game. Plus, if you take it personal, then you kind of lose you focus on one thing and you lose the big picture.
Hell yeah.
Sorry.
And there you see both of the red tape trees. That was the line that we weren't supposed to go past and shoot. You could maneuver past that line, but you weren't supposed to really have a round spanned.
I walked up and down the hill so many damn times and said one shot. I didn't even like it.
don't know what happened with that round. Right on releasing it. Oh, I know what it is. The trigger bar on that also needs to be modified. When you hit the trigger bar, it sometimes can push it, and it flinched it to the left. That trigger bar makes it kind of a push forward when you hit the trigger bar, instead of just a downward push. And downward push is a lot smoother than that push forward. It makes the whole thing kind of wobble. Yeah, that guy was real close to the marshal. The marshals have thinned out over there.
Ammo. I had about 50 rounds left. They left me 8.
Yeah, we got to a certain point where they just did a last man on the standing on the field, and usually when it gets to this point, I shoot it once or twice at other combat archers, maybe a spearman, and I just fall back because it's usually it's going to be death and carnage one way or another.
I told people they could draw some ammo. I had about 50 rounds left. They left me 8. All right, work them.
This guy's Japo armor is a nice rig. He's still working on finishing off, though. He posted to Facebook.
That would be fun, though.